I need help. I need help, and I need to learn from the lessons that you've learned. Fast forward 2024, Cali Barbecue Media, not only do we have a team of 10, so we have producers from all over the world, and we produce over 9 different shows. We have over 20 brands that are paying us consistently to help them with their digital storytelling. And I couldn't do it without the high level thinking of these calls. Right now, if you're watching this on LinkedIn, if you're watching it on Facebook, we are streaming live. We're using a platform called Riverside. I'm going to talk to David a little bit about his inside, what David does and how he does it, because for me, I want to teach more business owners the art of what David has coined, the stage theory. So, David, welcome to the show. Can we start with efficiency? I believe that 2025 is the year of efficiency. Can you share a little bit about currently when you stream, which platform are you using and why?
Well, I use all platforms and StreamYard, Zoom, Riverside, determinative upon the quality. StreamYard is the mid road. I use StreamYard because it has a multi distribution channel of TikTok Live, Instagram Live, Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live, but the quality is not as good as Riverside. Zoom is for convenience when the quality doesn't have to be there. And so I am very selective of the platforms that I use according to the distribution model and amplification that's going to be necessary. There are certain places that high quality is necessary. I do multi-million dollar productions.
Yes.
So Zoom doesn't do it. I also know that there's certain platforms that prefer today, especially going back to the old days where it doesn't do you well if it's well polished and well manicured. We also, I'm a spokesperson for some multi-billion dollar multinational companies. So if I'm doing something for Intuit or Travis Matthew or Verb or whatever, company it is, I have to ask them what type of content quality wise as well. So there's a lot of variables. I think you're foolish if you use one platform, you're missing the point. If you're a real digital uh, company and you understand efficiency, then you should be able to afford, number one, all the platforms to use, and then know which platforms best suit where you're going to distribute it to and for who.
How do you get the most out of the Meltzer Media team?
So, number one is teach values first, because if people have aligned values, they're going to be efficient, effective, and statistically successful. Then be annoying about the daily practices. Annoying means be repetitive. Don't give anyone the benefit of the doubt, especially if you're a parent. If you think that anybody understands what the F you're saying the first time, I don't care from Einstein down to a 3-year-old, you're foolishly mistaken. Human nature does not get it. And so you have to be one, repetitive, and two, honest. And so I am repetitive and honest about the 5 daily practices that I want people to illustrate those values in. Then have a clearly defined execution model for everyone to adhere to. And then finally, incentivize the people aligned with the directives and the achievements and objectives of the entire collective, the entire organization. And so, if you have the values, daily practices, execution model, and incentives aligned, and you're annoying, meaning that you're repetitive and honest with your team, I promise you, in fact, I guarantee, as you know, as you were one of my first business advisory clients ever, and now I have a wait list that's too long to appease. I guarantee success. And I'm talking not just subjective success, quantitative
Yes.
success is a profit center. I promise you that the annoyingness of David Meltzer has made you millions of dollars, which is far
I'm a
exceeds the
testimonial
business,
right here.
but it far exceeds the business advisory cost that's month to month and guaranteed.
Let's talk a little bit more about efficiencies, because I think from a high production values, how many shows are you doing right now?
I
Or
can't even count.
2025? You don't even know how many.
Probably over 30. Yeah.
Over 30 shows.
With the biggest names. So I'm doing shows, with Marshall Falk and Rick Macy and
Yep.
Mike Tannenbaum and Tom Bilyeu and Bedros, and the list goes on and on. Besides Mike Diamond, Blaine Bartlett, uh, Sean Dill, Lacey Book, James Maslow, Leo Herrera. So the list, there's actually too many as I'm going down the list to remember all of
Yeah.
them. That's why I'm a student in my calendar. I just need to know what I'm doing today.
How do you launch a successful show?
Well, first you got to do 10 for practice. You got to put 10 in the can.
10 in the
Uh,
can.
10 in the can. I always say 0 to 1 takes longer than 1 to 100. -1 to 0 takes longer than 1 to 100.
Yes.
-1 to 0 to me is put 10 shows in the can and at least get some practice. And I did the thing for box balling. Box balling is the fastest #1 app for health and fitness on iPhones and Android. And it's a boxing game. The thing goes on your
Oh,
head
I saw
and it
that
hangs.
video.
Yeah, yeah. So, but it was a reminder to me, right? It was a reminder to me, homeboy's grandma is 2 beautiful Sweden boys, Jacob and Victor Eriksson, and Nana or abuela, she did 15 in 5 seconds. So when I started, right, I was doing 3, 5,
Yeah,
and, they gave me a little bit of practice. I got to 11. So Abuela, who's 80 something, kicked my ass, not because she's a better athlete than me. Not that I'm
yeah.
a great athlete, but I'm better than Abuela, okay? And I'm saying that with all confidence. Think about Abuela did 15 reps in 5 seconds, and I could only do 11. Now, to give you an example, Abuela, this is her main form of exercise. Abuela did 15. The boys who own the company, one did 16 and one did 18. So
Interesting.
the amount of practice, repetition is so important. So if you're going to start a show, you better practice it and put it in the can and watch it and watch it and watch it and then do another one, watch it and watch it and watch it and let other people watch it and get the feedback and take what resonates with you, meaning the advice that resonates, saying, hey, that's good advice, but also pay attention to what you think is really bad advice and do some research on why you think that advice really doesn't work. And you may find that the bad advice may be better than the good advice.
So you talked about repetitive with your team. How do you be repetitive with your community? People
Yeah,
people feel like they can't, that they've said it too many times, and you're somebody that is live every single day on multiple different platforms. You're sending out texts through community, you're sending out emails of where you're gonna be in real life, where you're gonna be digitally, and, I'm sure people say, "David, are you being too repetitive for your community?" What has been your experience?
I laugh at those people because
That's
right
why we
when
get
someone
along
says
that's why we get
people,
along so well.
yeah, right when people say this is what people say, Dave, is I turn off. So look, it, until the day that you take your biggest fan, your parents, your siblings, people that love you, your best friend,
Yeah,
who actually watches you every day as much as they can. So there's the top ambassador you have, right? Your mom, who has nothing else to do with than watch
yep,
your son. Until your mom tells you, hey, you got to stop emailing me, it's too much, or you got to stop posting, it's too much, or you need to have less shows because it's too much. Until that day happens, you haven't even, in my opinion, you haven't even reached the minimum. You haven't even reached the minimum of what you should be doing. I put out, my team even gets resistance, right? They're like, you're going to have list exhaustion. I'm like, F you. You don't even know what you're talking about, list exhaustion. Most of the people aren't looking at it. So you're lucky to catch them.
yeah.
Look, if I gave Coca-Cola and McDonald's, two of the biggest advertisers in the world, if I gave them an option, hey, you can have one commercial a day, or one commercial a week, or I will put your commercial on every single show. Which one do you think they're going to get? They're going to ask for.
Yep.
Come on now. What are people stupid? You're getting an opportunity to have a commercial on every single show every single day, and you're not taking it for free in person, on the phone, via email, and social media beyond traditional media. Then you're an FOOL, a fool, if you think that people care that much about you that they're going to get sick of your emails.
So before we close out 2025, I would love to hear what advice does Meltzer have to the people that look at the end of the year as it's already over?
Oh, you're silly. Come on.
You're silly.
This should be the name, the Fools Edition. So it's so funny because the
But
people
but
who
the but the attitude's everywhere. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, of course it is. Well, except it's not everywhere because it's not with people like you and me that
correct.
love to do business. And
Yes.
then all of a sudden at the end of the year, we're a little bit frustrated because there's not enough people to do business with except for the players. And so if you want to clear away the surface players and you want to get to the real players, then you should double down during the holidays. Double down when everybody else is golfing. Look, and it doesn't mean you can't have it. Look, brother, I just took 2 weeks. I went to DC, spoke there for Aspire. I was honored to speak as the keynote at Carnegie's International
Wow.
Convention in San Antonio. Went back to DC, met with the Air Force Squadron, once again, Air Force One. Then I got to London. Then I went to Egypt. Then I came back to London. Then I came back home. Then I went immediately to an incredible mastermind with Marshall Falk and Tom Bilyeu and Linda Cohn from ESPN. And the list
Wow.
goes on. And I got home last night again at 9 o'clock. Actually, past 9 o'clock, past my unwinding routine. It was 9:16 to be exact. And look, there was more real players that wanted to do.
Yeah.
You think Marshall and Tom are able not during the holidays to come to my shit, right?
No chance.
But they can't help themselves because they love it, and it was close by. And Marshall flew in from Cuba into LAX, and he's like, "F it, Dave. I'm going to spend the day with you and the night with you. Then I'm going to go home because I want to be part of the frequency in the neighborhood." Double down when people aren't working. I'm going to Tulum on Saturday, and I promise I will do more coaching calls, more business, and
Yep.
more shows in Tulum than I'm doing today.
What when we look back, this will be the best part about what I love about the digital storytelling. Me and you on the coaching calls, we republish all of these on the digital hospitality feed. Um, what's David thinking in 2025? How can Dave, like, when you dream big, you have big dreams. When we look back, what's your big dream for 2025?
Professionally, my big dream is to revitalize and amplify Think and Grow Rich, Outwitting the Devil, How to Sell Through Life. I'm now the chairman of Napoleon Hill Institute. We are launching January 11th on my birthday, the
Amazing.
day that they created Clement Stone and Napoleon Hill created the Napoleon Hill Institute. We're going to be in MENA, India, Europe. We're going to hit every single continent. I'm doing a new edition of Think and Grow Rich, the corporate edition, writing a forward. Rhett Powers is my new CEO of the Napoleon Hill Institute. We're going to blow it out. People are going to be revitalized by the revitalization of the greatest content for entrepreneurs ever channeled in the 1920s and 30s. You are going to be blown away when these kids get a feel for what made the great leaders of our world. Of our world today. You know who reached out to me? Rob Riggle, by the way. Rob Riggle saw I'm the chairman of Napoleon Hill, reached out. Mark Cuban reached out. Damon
Wow.
John reached out. Matt Higgins reached out.
Wow.
Everybody wants to be a part of it. Rob Riggle flew into the mastermind yesterday, the end of the year mastermind at SoFi Stadium. We do one a month at SoFi Stadium. Rob Riggle flew in, spent the entire day with us and
Wow.
dinner, and was so gracious. We double sold, meaning we have limits because SoFi only has so much room in my
Yep.
mastermind training room. It's in the goddamn stadium, as you know.
I do
And
know.
I had to call and ask permission from SoFi because they couldn't host me on Thursday because the Chargers are going to kick the Broncos' ass on
That's right.
Thursday. So I
That's right.
I had to double down. I've never had that many people at a mastermind. I was worried about the intimacy, and we sold out. The dinner was overloaded with people. They came out of the woodwork. And so Napoleon Hill Institute, that's my big dream for 2025, to revitalize actually all the content in Napoleon Hill, but also revitalize the people, the community of Napoleon Hill. Because you ask any great entrepreneur what their most impactful book is in their life, and they'll say Think and Grow Rich.
When do you have any students of yours that live stream their coaching calls?
I do,
How many?
in different five, and now that's 5% because
5%.
I
Beautiful.
have 100, I have 100 one-on-one clients, and
Wow.
then I have 20 business advisory clients, and I have almost 5 times that on my wait list. And I'm just going to be honest with people. Not everybody ever comes off my wait list. The wait list is kind of like the wait list at
For the Green Bay
Georgetown or
Packers?
Harvard. Yeah, like I gotta, well, because I have to guarantee profit. So
Yes.
there's a lot of people that want me to one-on-one coach, and I'm like, look, just get into my group coaching because
Yep.
I know I can easily guarantee profit for you. I can be a profit center in the group. I'm not quite sure I can do it yet. So let me mature you. That's the only prioritization of the one-on-one and the business advisory is I have to be sure they're like Sean Welchef. And part of it too is, the common denominator of successful people, why I took on Sean, even though everybody thought he was crazy and thought I was crazy, by the way, when I told them, including Entrepreneur Magazine, by the way, Bill
Yep.
Shaw, Charles, those guys, I told them, dude, this is the future. You guys should be doing what Sean does. And now you're their biggest player. You bring in more advertising dollars than they do. They don't even know what they're doing because they were some of the people going, that'll never work. No one's going to want to do hospitality podcast. And you know what? I toast you, entrepreneur, for allowing my friend Sean to have such a great opportunity.
David, you are the best. What's the best? You're giving out books. Let
Yeah,
the audience know
always please
how to get a
email
book.
me. It's right there, David at dmeltzer.com. I'm giving out books. I also have a special bonus to join my group by the end of the year.
Right.
So join thousands of people in a private networking and coaching group that I have. It's guaranteed. For any reason you don't like Sean's hat, I'll give you a full refund. I don't care what the reason is, but I'm going to guarantee that I'm a profit center. Join me, get a free book. I'll sign it, send it to you, pay for shipping, pay for the book. Come and join our group. Come to Free Friday trainings. Come join the Napoleon Hill Institute. David at dmeltzer.com. I'm fired up. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, anything else that's celebratable. Go celebrate. I love you. And
I love
finally,
you.
I know you're going to love this. Go Chargers.
Go Chargers. Appreciate you, David. Thank you.
Happy holidays, buddy. Love you.
Appreciate you. Love you too, man. Thanks. Let's stop the recording. Riverside. Thank
All
you
right.
for jumping on